Yeah, so I think the finale was literally just spoiled for us. I know it wasn't by some leak. I think it was by the showrunner himself. Tell me why I'm scrolling on Twitter and I come across this clip from this one interview that quite literally reveals Homelander dies in the finale. Don't believe me? Check it out for yourself.
Our notion was like their story was not over just because Homelander's dead. There was a whole other interesting space that they occupy as young adults.
Say that again?
Or just because Homelander's dead.
What? No, all right. I know that sounds bad.
I mean, I think it can't be clearer than that it was just confirmed that Homelander will die in the finale. Now, after getting the Soulja Boy news, I did not expect to make another video like this. I thought that would be the only remotely spoiler type of thing about the finale. But Eric Kripke himself just sort of pointed to how it all ends. Okay, sure, he didn't say how we're leaving every character and who dies, but he did say that the main character of the show will not survive. Now, say what you want about expecting Homelander to die and this sort of being a given, but I feel like revealing this sort of ruins the whole show, and I most certainly think he did this by complete mistake and this wasn't on purpose whatsoever, because I think a great majority of people thought that he might win in the end. They thought that they might go for a shocking finale and let Homelander go crazy on the world, but this right here confirms that the guy dies. Now, this could still mean he wreaks havoc on the world and then gets killed, but this just solidified what happens. The whole show has been building up to killing Homelander, and when Homelander's dead, there's no other real threat to be taken down. Homelander's the dude who's been controlling every evil thing happening in the boy's life. So with him gone, they're essentially free, and so is the entire world. Now, honestly, man, I don't even know what to say at this point. I'm truly just fascinated how a show like The Boys could steep this damn low. This isn't my top 5 shows of all time. Well, maybe it used to be at this point, but it genuinely used to be so good. And it's like, how do we even get to the point where the finale is being leaked by the very own showrunner? It's like the whole purpose is for the finale to be surprising. It's for us to theorize about what's gonna happen without, of course, officially knowing. That's the whole reason why I've been making so many videos on it. There's just so many ways the show could go, and for it to be revealed that this happened is just absolutely insane. Don't get me wrong, I did think Homelander was likely gonna die, since I tend to argue that he's been the winner of the entire series essentially, because when you really think about it, he's been on top at the end of every season. No matter how much the boys have appeared to do, he seems to gain more power by doing so. The more they've driven him to be crazy, the more he's amassed power and been able to do whatever the hell he wants. And for example, now in season 5, the dude feels like he's a god. And if you really think about it, the boys sort of pushed him to be there in the first place. Without everything they've done, we would have likely seen a season 1 Homelander still in place. So by letting him live, that would essentially mean all the boys did was for nothing. Before we continue, if you enjoy these videos, please consider hitting that subscribe button to try and help me get to 20k. Now, as for who kills him, that's obviously not revealed yet, but I think there's only one right answer to that question. I think it has to be Billy Butcher. The whole series has been building towards their intense rivalry. Scenes like Scorched Earth or when they were sipping tea together all hint at this very same finale. I mean, after all, it is called Blood and Bone, and that exact quote was used when they were discussing whether or not they had a bigger destiny or fate in the future. But I think what's gonna happen is pretty self-explanatory. Kimiko obviously has the chest blast now, so she's gonna depower Homelander, and then I think Butcher will likely have a one-on-one with him. I think they'll make it so no one else really has to participate, because at the end of the day, I really need to see a 1v1 between Homelander and Butcher, no powers, no weapons, just raw hand-to-hand. I feel like at this point this is the best thing they can do, but honestly I think the finale is already cooked, and the season as a whole. People keep saying, oh well, there's maybe a chance the finale could be good. Listen, I don't doubt it's gonna have a few good moments. The Boys, despite all its filler episodes and bad writing, has some pretty good moments, I'm not gonna lie. So do I think it's gonna be unwatchable? Probably not. But I do think it's not gonna be nearly enough to make up for all the wasted time I watched season 5 for. It's like, take for example episode 7. Everything that happened there should have been in the middle of the season. That would have been an amazing 4th episode, as I've seen many people say online. For that to be right before the finale genuinely makes no sense. And it's why after seeing that episode, I for sure knew things were doomed.
It's over. We are screwed.
I thought that the ending of episode 6 when Homelander got V1 wasn't good either, but I thought they still had a slim chance of bringing it back. After all, they had 2 whole hours, and although there's a lot to cover, 2 hours is theoretically enough, and it's not entirely impossible, but with it now being only 1 hour remaining, it's officially over. There's only so much they can do in that amount of time, and there's just so many damn plot lines they still haven't addressed. There's so many characters that are still alive, and that's exactly why I don't think any of us will be satisfied. Of course, I can't generalize this and say everyone's gonna think that, since a select few of people always enjoy these types of finales, but I think the vast majority is gonna express negative opinions towards it. And with how Eric Kripke has been discussing the finale, he seems to be extremely stressed about what people are gonna say, if people are gonna base the entire show off what happens in there. And honestly, can you blame people for that? This is a show that has been building towards the ending. Unlike other shows that are season to season and don't really follow the same stuff, the whole core basis of The Boys is to take down Homelander. So if how they do it fails, then the whole series itself sort of becomes meaningless.
All that for a drop of blood.
Of course, rewatching it is gonna have its great moments, but it's gonna leave a very bad aftertaste, and I think that's entirely warranted if they mess it up. However, another thing that sort of confirmed this a while back ago was the announcement of The Boys Mexico. Now, if you don't remember, and I can barely even remember myself, I think it was around season 4 or before it aired, it was said that we would be getting a spin-off, one this time set in Mexico. Now, as for the plot, it wasn't necessarily specified, and all that was really said was the location. But I think that right there sort of hints that Homelander wouldn't survive. Because honestly, as bad as The Boys has gotten, I wouldn't suspect it of making the villain go on to a spin-off, especially one like Homelander that is so well known and isn't just some little side villain like Stan Edgar. But speaking of Stan Edgar, I could probably easily see him going onto that show as their villain. But also, I think having a spin-off like this completely ruins the main universe. The whole big threat was Homelander, so what could possibly top that without ruining the entire show? Because on one side, if the villain isn't threatening enough, then why would we watch it? And on the other, if he's as powerful as Homelander, then what the hell have the boys been doing focusing on Homelander if there's this other villain that's gonna pop up after? It just makes no sense to me, and I think if there was another big threat, then one of the boys or whoever survives would have to be involved. Think people like Starlight, Huey, and others, but that would feel cheap and boring, because this finale is supposed to conclude their character arcs. It's supposed to end them off well, because after all, this is the show they're a part of. And I know they're thinking of doing some Better Call Saul type of thing with Vought Rising, since it appears they're going to be keeping Soldier Boy in that chamber, but for this case and this show, I don't think it's going to work. This is just because the stakes are too damn high. Breaking Bad is about Walter White and his drug empire. This is a universe where you have a man who could fly at insane speeds and shoot lasers out of the sky. I mean, it's completely different. And although I do have some hope for the spin-offs and I'll probably review them, with the way season 5 has progressed, I have immense doubts, and I don't think you can blame me for having that. I don't know, I hope this was an accidental slip up and that Eric Kripke worded this wrong, but I mean, you can't tell me that doesn't indicate Homelander's gonna die. He talks about what would have happened if Gen V season 3 was a thing, and I don't understand why he'd say Homelander dies. But at this point, I think it's safe to say he does. With The Boys Mexico releasing still, I doubt they're just gonna switch Homelander onto another show and make him the villain of that, because after all, he coincides with The Boys, and The Boys will be gone after the show ends. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys still have some hope for this finale? As always, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy these little rants, and follow me on Kick for upcoming streams that you don't want to miss. Join the Discord to discuss all your favorite pieces of media, and I'll see you all next time.